Boo!
Did we scare you? I'm Boo. Not trying to scare you again. That's just my name.
And I'm Happy Gilmore, and somebody's anchoring.
We got a spooktacular show for you today.
So let's tee off and get it going.
We begin today's program with a recap of Coach Prime and the Buffs' crushing defeat last week in Salt Lake City. Here's Leo Rivera from Rice Eccles Stadium after the game.
It was a night to be forgotten for the Colorado Buffaloes as they suffered a 53-7 beatdown to their rival, the Utah Utes, in Salt Lake City Saturday night. Colorado's offense was unable to get anything going at all and went scoreless in the first half, accumulating negative 18 total yards of offense. Colorado gave up 587 total yards to an absolutely dominant Utah offense that pulled no punches against the Buffs. Starting true freshman quarterback Bird Ficklin, the Utes were able to do whatever they wanted on the ground and capitalize on a slew of Colorado mistakes. Offensively, the Buffs struggled behind quarterback Caden Salter, who only completed 9 passes for an abysmal 37 yards and an interception. Even in special teams, an area the Buffaloes have been consistent in, they struggled, having a punt block and putting the Buffs in their 4 starting positions. Overall, it was a disaster in Utah for the Colorado Buffaloes as they struggled to find any success anywhere. Post-game head coach Deion Sanders was speechless, commenting that changes needed to be made, but he wouldn't say what. That's all that we had here in Utah. As always, I'm Leo Rivera IV.
While the Buffs have had some bad games under Coach Prime, what transpired on Saturday tops them all. Colorado lost to Utah 53-7, allowing nearly 600 total yards from a 19-year-old freshman quarterback making his first ever start. The Buffs played equivalent to a side character that dies in the first scene of a horror movie, going down 43-0 into halftime, the worst deficit under Coach Prime. They finished with 140 total yards on offense, with 100 of them coming in the fourth quarter alone, largely against Utah's backups, but hey, it wasn't so bad. CU broke the shutout with some electric back-to-back tush pushes to find the end zone and cut the lead to 39. Quarterback Caden Salter finished with 9 completions and got sacked 7 times, as Colorado falls to 1-4 in conference play and 3-5 overall.
Hello and welcome back into this week's edition of Buff Banter. I'm Sonic the Shane Hedgehog alongside Nick Rauscher, who's dressing up as Pat Shurmur's offense, which is a pretty scary sight right now, but I digress. We're going to talk about the Big 12 discrepancy and disrespect in the AP rankings. Nick, the first name that comes to mind, BYU, 8-0. They're only 10th and tied at 10th at that with Miami. What are your thoughts on this team being behind a handful of one-loss teams?
It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you're a power conference team undefeated. That's really tough to do. It doesn't matter that strength of conference. Every conference, it's hard to go undefeated. We saw it last year with Indiana nearly running the table, and they were ranked pretty high. And by the way, their schedule was nothing. BYU's played a really tough schedule. They hosted Utah on the road. They're a top 20, or not on the road, at home. They're a top 25 ranked team right now. And for some reason, AP decides, the best team in the Big 12 is only as good as the second best team in the ACC. Mind you, the Big 12 is 6-1 against the ACC this year. So I don't really know what the committee's thinking with that one. Analytically, BYU is a top 10 team standalone, don't even have to tie with anyone. So, and then with one-loss teams, that's one loss. I think BYU has shown that they're consistent and they can beat opponents on the road, at home. Iowa State, talk that game. They went on the road and won by I think 13 or 14 points. And Iowa State, they're not a terrible team. They've been down a little bit, but they still have the capability that the team had last year. So I don't know if they'll ever give us that respect, unfortunately, because of the SEC bias, which I think is there. I know it's kind of a hot topic. One-loss SEC team, undefeated Big 12 team. I'll take the Big 12 team.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, right, Nick, if some Big 12 team, if it's BYU, if it's Texas Tech, do they match up, right, in the playoff? Because that could be a statement for these, programs in the Big 12 that don't really think that they get the respect they deserve. I want to talk about another team that's out there that's ahead of a couple of these really top teams in the Big 12 when it comes to the standings, and that's Notre Dame, right? This is a team that, I get it, was top 5 preseason, but they have 2 losses, and again, 2 top 10 losses. They're good losses, but against the competition that they played on their level, they looked bad against those teams, right? So it begs the question, right, is Notre Dame deserving of being ahead of a team like Texas Tech right now? I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think so either. Analytically, Texas Tech is incredible, blowing out almost every opponent. Their only loss, and I think this is what the AP has to do. I don't know if the AP watches every game. AP needs to watch that Texas Tech Arizona State game where Texas Tech lost by 4 on the road, and understand that Texas Tech was playing against a fully healthy Arizona State. I understand they lost Sam Leavitt. They can't take that into account. And they were playing their backup quarterback, and that was a 4-point loss against the defending Big 12 champions. Notre Dame has 2 losses. Who have they played? USC, I get they're ranked, but I mean, they play an independent.
Should they be ranked though, right? I mean, they came into the rankings after a bye. How does that happen?
I don't think they should be ranked at all. I mean, South Florida is unranked. They have 2 losses against Memphis, who's a top 25 team, and they have a loss against Miami, who's a top 10 team right now. USF has a better resume than USC.
Well, it's a good point. I think, the underlying problem here, right, is the fact that the preseason polls kind of establish this order in the AP standings that teams can never really recover from, right? I mean, there was no really, top echelon Big 12 teams in the stands to start things off, and that trickles down into the rest of the season. I will say, thankfully, this is the last weekend that the AP is going to have the so-called say over who the best teams in the country are, Nick, because we're going to get the first college football playoff rankings this Monday night. But last thing before we go, Houston's a 7-1 team. Mm-hmm. They're behind Michigan. Mm-hmm. Make that make sense.
It doesn't. It just blatantly doesn't. I mean, Michigan's schedule has been rather lackluster right now. Obviously, they have the big matchup at the end of the year against Ohio State. If they win that, we can start having these conversations. But the AP has to do the poll as it is right now. Yeah. Houston has 1 loss against Texas Tech, who's a top 15 team according to the AP poll. Other than that, they're undefeated. They're 7-1. They look really good. They're a dark horse contender for the Big 12. I think I think there's bias a little bit, but I mean, it's so tough in today's era to even go 11-1. I mean, and they're 7-1. They are 4 games away from doing that. I've seen the arguments out there, Houston hasn't played anyone. Yeah, neither has Michigan. And they have an extra loss, and they're ranked ahead of them. So why aren't we giving the 7-1 the bump over the 2-loss team? It does not make any sense.
Talking about Houston, maybe people were talking about they haven't played anyone. They just went on the road to get against Tempe, against Arizona State in their home backyard and won that game. So, in my opinion, they do have a really good win on their resume. But we'll leave it there for this week's edition of Buff Banter. For Nick Rauscher, his play calling's a little bit suspect, but his takes are really good on today's show. I'm Shane Sonic the Hedgehog Holcomb. We'll say so long and send it back to the desk.
On a brighter note, our crew on SBS Football Live was very optimistic in the light of Buff's homecoming matchup against Arizona. Take a listen.
That moves us to our feature game of the week. Arizona coming to Boulder to take on Colorado. Mia, who do you got?
I've got the Buffs in this one. I think that this is one that I had to think about a little bit, but I can see, some spooky things happening, Halloween weekend. And I think that the home field advantage will be a factor in this game. Arizona's winless on the road, and they've allowed over 31 points in back-to-back games, which does favor Colorado in this one. If it's not a defensive battle, maybe Colorado can hang in there, and I think that this is exactly what the Buffs need if they are going to make a case that they are trying to turn this around, that they are trying to redeem themselves this season.
Oliver, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've just echoed Mia a lot on this segment, but I kind of have to echo the same thing. I feel like home field advantage will give them an edge, especially with Arizona's struggles on the road. We've also seen the past few years with some Noah Fifita-led teams coming into Folsom. I know last year they didn't come to Folsom, but 2 years ago, that was a close game. It came down to some Coach Prime time management, but these games have been close. The game 2 years ago was close. The game last year, of course, was a blowout in Colorado's fashion. I think that with Noah Fifita at the helm, that this will be a time where the Buffs have seen some film on him, a lot of what Arizona can do, and I think that will give him an edge, especially with the home field advantage.
Yeah, and absolutely that home field advantage is going to play a factor. Leo, do you think it's enough to push the Buffs over?
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of outside noise, Liam. I think more than ever this week was the most critique put upon the players, and even on this show, I think resembled that, and deservingly so. We're not going to give them a pass for 53-7, Liam Howard, but coming back from that, you hit rock bottom. And what's the only place to go from rock bottom? That's right back on up, Liam Howard. You got to have a little bit of optimism. I see a scenario where maybe not Caden Salter, maybe a different quarterback comes in, but someone on the Colorado Buffaloes is going to step up on that offense, and they're going to find a way to beat the Cats on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think that I'm happy you said deservingly so, because 53-7 is bad. Colorado's getting this outside noise because they looked pitiful. They are wounded. That's the worst that they have looked in years. That's what this program was trying to move away from with the hiring of Coach Prime, and now They can't stop a clock against Utah. How are they going to do that against a team like Arizona? They got to face this lethal offense with Noah Fafita, Ishmael Mahdi, like I mentioned. That's a tough matchup. But the home field advantage. They got this rowdy crowd on a Halloween weekend behind them. The team that was smacked in Salt Lake City, they left that in that locker room. They got on that plane, a different team, and they are going to come back and repeat exactly what happened last year. Give me the Buffs by 1,000,000 over Arizona this weekend back at Folsom. Leo, one quick thing before we end the show.
Most definitely. Before we wrap it up, just wanted to give a big happy birthday shout out to the man himself, Liam Howard, turning the big 20, and he's out here working till 10 at night for you guys. So give it up for him. Show some love.
I would love if the Buffaloes showed me some love with a win this weekend. Thank you all for watching SBS Football Live. For Liam, Leo, Mia, and Oliver, thank you for joining us. You heard it here first.
Coming back to Folsom this weekend, Colorado's looking to not get a 50-burger hung on their head against Arizona. The Wildcats hold a record of 4-3 and took a close loss to the Houston Cougars last week. Their dual-threat quarterback, Noah Fafita, has passed for over 1,800 yards this season, but has only rushed for 78 yards. But perhaps the one thing the Colorado defense is good at is allowing a quarterback to carve them up like a pumpkin. The Utes' backup quarterback, Bird Ficklin, rushed for over 151 yards and passed for 140. The Buffaloes also have to get things on track offensively. The Buffaloes' offense looked like a bad Wes Craven film as they had negative yards at halftime and scored their first points in garbage time. It won't be easy against Arizona, but it will be one of their easier games as the Wildcat offense and defense ranks in the bottom half of the Big 12.
As we know, the Buffs are back at Folsom Field tomorrow night taking on the University of Arizona. For tomorrow's game, we're looking at a high of 63 degrees around the time the gates open. As we move into kickoff, temperatures will drop to about 61 degrees with light winds coming in from the west. And then by halftime, expect it to cool down further to around 52 degrees, so fans might want to bring an extra layer, anything to stay warm and comfortable for the second half. Once again, I'm Gia Henriken. Have fun, stay safe, and Go Buffs.
Last Saturday, the 24th-ranked volleyball team took on the Iowa State at home. Pin attacker Anna Barilovich once again led the Buffs with 19 kills and 10 digs. The Cyclones gave the Buffs a challenge, with CU winning the first two sets by close scores. Iowa State then dominated the third set, winning to force a win on the fourth set. Colorado pushed ahead and defeated Iowa State in the fourth set to win the game 3-1.
The Buffs found themselves in a whirlwind 5-set victory on Tuesday. Colorado was on the road playing Northern Colorado. Barilovich started again, slamming down 30 kills. Pretty spooky that it's her 13th straight match with double-digit kills. Dominant third and fifth sets were the difference makers in the Buffs' 19th win of the season.
They'll look to grab their 20th win tonight at the CU Event Center. Number 18 Baylor and number 23 Colorado will take the court in a top 25 matchup that's almost as big as the next Jordan Peele movie. First serve is set for 7 p.m. Mountain Time and is streamed live on ESPN+.
Next week, the Buffs will travel to Lawrence to take on the number 14 Jayhawks. A top 5 matchup in the Big 12 could shake up the standings right now. The Buffs are second in the Big 12, and Kansas has the second best attacking defense in the conference. First serve is set for 5 p.m. Mountain Time next Thursday.
Last Sunday, Colorado closed out its regular season in style, defeating Arizona 1-0 on Senior Day at Prenton Field. It was a historical afternoon for the Buffs, with 2 program records falling in the win. Junior forward Hope Leba scored the match's Match's only goal, making her 18th goal of the season, breaking Nikki Marshall's single-season goal record of 17, recorded back in 2006. In net, Jordan Knightis recorded her 26th career shutout for the most clean sheets in program history. Colorado defense held strong all game, limiting Arizona to just 2 shots on target, both coming in the second half. The win marks a perfect regular season at home for Colorado, 10-0-2 at Prento Field, the first unbeaten record home in program history. Now the Buffs will shift their focus to the Big 12 tournament, held in Waco and Fort Worth, Texas, from November 3rd through the 8th.
Colorado is the hottest team in the nation after their 3-0 win against number 5 Texas Tech last week. The Buffs moved up 11 spots in the latest coaches poll. Colorado is now ranked 11th in the country ahead of the Big 12 tournament. This is their highest ranking since 2006.
Junior forward Hope Leba set a CU record of goals, in a season with her 18th tally of the season against Arizona on Sunday. Leba passed the previous record of 17 by forward Nikki Marshall set in 2006. In their game against Kansas on Thursday, Leba was able to add one more goal to the record to end with 19 goals in the 2025 season.
Senior goalkeeper Jordan Knightis set the CU school record for shutouts in a career with her 26th in the team's win against Arizona last Sunday. Knightis passed Jalen Tompkins and Jessica Keller, who shared the record of 25 this season. Knightis recorded 8 shutouts with 10 saves in the game against Texas Tech, being her best performance in a shutout.
Following the 2-1 win against the Kansas Jayhawks, the Buffs head into the Big 12 Championship Tournament as the 3rd seed and face the 6th-seeded UCF Knights, TCU, West Virginia, Texas Tech, UCF, Kansas, Baylor, and BYU all qualified for the tournament. Colorado holds wins over 1st-seeded TCU, 4th-seeded Texas Tech, and 7th-seeded Kansas and 8th-seeded BYU. CU's Big 12 Championship campaign starts on Monday. Kickoff against UCF is set for 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
The men's Hoopers begin their 2025-26 season hosting Montana State on Monday. The Buffaloes are looking to bounce back from Tad Boyle's worst record in the 15 seasons as the Colorado head coach. The team is on the younger side, bringing in 6 freshmen and 2 transfers over the offseason. Guard Isaiah Johnson has proved to be one of the better additions, leading the Buffs in points throughout multiple exhibition games already this season. Another solid addition, UC Riverside transfer Barrington Hargress, brings leadership, experience, and shooting to the Buffs. Colorado will use the first couple of games this year to solidify the starting rotation and identify who plays well together. The game starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Time and airs on ESPN+.
Women's basketball opened up their unofficial season Wednesday, taking on Colorado School of Mines in an expedition. As expected, they destroyed Mines 87-24 with some newcomers leading the charge. Transfers NL Tutat and Claire Connor scored 16 and 15 points at least, according to our very own Harrison Simeon. Here's our women's basketball beat writer, Mia Driscoll, at the CU Event Center after the game.
The Colorado women's basketball team just dominated their exhibition game against Colorado School of Mines by a score of 87-24. 4 players were in double digits for CU, with Claire O'Connell leading with 15. This is a brand new team, 10 new players from last year. We've got 5 transfers, 5 freshmen, and the sky is the limit for this team. They are projected to finish 9th in the Big 12, but J.R. Payne is totally positive about once this team chemistry kicks in, where this team can go. There's no limit. Their next game will be November 6th against New Mexico State. You can catch them in action here at the CU Event Center. Look to see lots more from preseason All Big 12 Jade Mastigallo. That's all we've got from you here. I'm Mia Driscoll with Scope Up Sports.
Women's Hoops now opens up their season a week from today against the University of New Mexico Lobos. The Lobos finished 4th in the Mountain West last season and returned their 2nd and 3rd leading scorers from a year ago. Their 2nd leading scorer, Destiny Hooks, was named to the All-Mountain West team, as she is projected to have a humongous junior year. Last season, Hooks averaged 15 points as a sophomore while shooting 43% from the field. The Buffs host the Lobos on November 6th at the CU Event Center. You can catch coverage of the game on our socials and website.
It's a new look squad for head coach J.R. Payne, as she had 10 player turnovers for the 2nd season in a row. This offseason, she brought in 5 new transfers and 5 freshmen, with only the only returner being Jade Masagayo, Kennedy Sanders, and Jojo Nonori. Of the freshmen, Payne added 2 4-stars, Logan Greer and Ariana Godin, who each owned all-star honors in high school. In the front court, the Buffs added 2 all-defensive transfers with Desiree Wooten from North Texas and Sienna Walker from K-State. But that's not all, folks. They added a sharpshooter in Claire O'Connor from Gonzaga, an athletic phenom, NL Tuta, who each brought a skill set to this team. We also can't forget about Jade Masagayo, who led the team in points per game last season. In returns for a humongous junior year, they were projected to finish 9th in the Big 12 this season. But don't be surprised if they finish higher on paper. This team will be better than last year.
Welcome to Folsom Feud. I'm your host, Colby, here with 3 contestants today, Lincoln, Balin, and Kieran. Lincoln, start us off.
I'll take game day etiquette for 200.
All right. This is the best way to show respect during the CU fight song.
What is standing, singing loud, and raising your hand in the hook 'em horn sign?
Not what we're looking for. Balin, you have an answer?
What is stand up, sing loud, and do the Ralphie horns?
Correct. Balin, the board is yours.
Give me tailgate traditions for 400.
All right, here's the answer. The must-have item to wear on game day to show your Buff pride. Kieran?
What is black and gold?
That's correct. Nothing says school spirit like those 2 colors. Choose the next one.
Let's do fan etiquette for 600.
Fan etiquette. The proper response when you hear someone yell, "Go Buffs."
What is Skull Buffs?
Skull Buffs is right. Looks like we've got some true Buffs fans here. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to our contestants, and see you next time.
The Buffs are 3 wins away from being bowl eligible. A lot of work needs to be done to even get a step closer into gaining a bowl game. Brittany Garcia takes a look at what needs to happen and fan reactions on the season.
Coach Prime, it is back to the drawing board.
Let's grade this moment. Let's figure out why this happened, and let's make sure the precaution that it don't happen again. But let's identify why.
All right, deep breath. This season may have not what we have been expecting, but this season, if you're here in 2022 pre-Coach Prime, it may give you a few flashbacks to that 1-win season pre-Coach Prime. But I will say, they are pretty spoiled in that sense, because for the past 2 to 3 years, they had Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, those stellar players for those years. And they brought all eyes and all hype back to Colorado football. I'm Brittany Garcia, reporting for Skill Buff Sports, and with those departures of Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, and the new arrival of the new starting quarterback, Kaidon Salter, the hype has died down a little bit. For a team who made a bowl game for the first time since the year 2020, they are hoping to gain a bowl game this year. They are 3 away from gaining bowl eligibility, but with an embarrassing loss to Utah last week, the chances of that happening is becoming slimmer and slimmer. The Buffs have 4 more games remaining in the schedule, and they are hoping to become bowl eligible. In order for that to happen, they need to win the next 3 of the next 4 games. 2 of those are road games, 2 of them are at home. The lack of turnovers have brought a lot of defensive struggles for the Buffs, but in order to get even closer to being bowl eligible, they need to win at least 1 road game. That could be either West Virginia or Kansas State, and they need to win both of their home games against Arizona and Arizona State. Buff fans may not be as happy as they were in the past couple years. Let's go check out what they think of the season and if the Buffs can make a bowl game.
I think it's a really hard thing to repeat the magic of last year when you lose a Heisman Trophy winner and a record-breaking quarterback. So in a transitional year, I think there's a tremendous amount of positives. The record doesn't reflect that at all. Painfully so, as a bunch of fans, we'd like to see the record show that as well, but when you look at a lot of our games, there was a lot of narrow losses that could have easily have been wins, which is huge.
We've had better seasons. I know that some of our star players are gone, but I think that, I don't know, I still have faith in our team, and I don't know, I think they have a great environment going on, so I don't doubt that they can't bounce back and start winning some more football games.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think it's over yet. It's definitely not.
In order to make a bowl game, this is what needs to happen. For Arizona, the Buffs need to defend the pass in the downfield, minimize turnovers, and being able to control the game. The Buffs are at home, so being able to hold that momentum is crucial. Arizona's defense is capable, and their defense has made 9+ interceptions this year, so being able to protect the quarterback is key. For West Virginia, being able to stop the run early, dominate the trenches, and special teams discipline. West Virginia is noted to be one of Colorado's easiest remaining matchups, but if you don't stop the run, West Virginia can lead. For ASU has a strong running game, so being able to stop the run is needed, and protecting the quarterback from pressure, as ASU's sack numbers are very high, and Colorado needs to avoid negative plays. For Kansas State, they need to start early, force turnovers, and capitalize. When you face good offenses, 1 or 2 turnovers can change real quick. Mix a run and pass effectively. Alright, if the Buffs can do this, if they could do all these things against these remaining matchups, the likelihood of getting bowl eligible is in their odds. So, I'm Brittany Garcia reporting for Sco Buff Sports.
I don't know about you, but that person looks familiar for sure. Thank you, Brittany. Last weekend in Denver, beating Wyoming, Weber State in the University of Denver through the doubles and singles matches. The team went 23-13 at the tournament. If you would like to more, you could read Kobe White's fantastic article on our website. Now the tennis team prepares to travel to Florida for the Bonita Bay Classic.
The men's golf team wrapped up their fall season with a 5th-place finish in the Canapali tournament last week. While Oklahoma dominated with a team score of 63 under, the Buffs saw 3 individual top 20 finishes. Junior Hunter Swanson and sophomore Ty Holbrook tied for 14th overall, shooting 10 under, while freshman Parker Paxton shot 8 under to finish tied for 18th. The Buffs hit the offseason with the next 3.5 months off before traveling to California for the Prestige at PGA West tournament in February.
The women's golf team tied for 6th at the Nania Invitational on Wednesday. Stanford won the tournament shooting 19th fewer strokes than the next best team. Caroline Fuller led the Buffaloes in Hawaii. The junior finished 3 strokes under par. Tima Patine had the best tournament of her collegiate career. She finished 2 strokes under par with the help of her flawless third round. The freshman shot a bogey-free third with 3 birdies, her best single round of the season. The Buffaloes have 3 months before they start the spring portion of the 25-26 season. Colorado travels to Mexico to play in the Collegiate Invitational in Guadalajara, January 30th.
This past weekend, the CU women's hockey team swept their rivals CSU in 2 games. Friday, they scored 6-2 and Saturday 6-1. They have this weekend off, but will return to play on the 7th on the road. More details to come.
After a long road trip, the men's Division I hockey team gives a much-needed break this weekend. The team have been playing away nearly every weekend, coming off the trip with a 5-10 record on the season. Hockey returns to the Rec next weekend with 2 games against the University of Central Oklahoma on Friday and Saturday. On the road, the Buffs earned the split in Amon, Oklahoma earlier in the month, with the loss coming in a shootout.
Men's D2 hockey also has Halloween weekend off after beating MSU and DU last weekend. The team is 7-4 so far this season, led in points by forward David Levkis with 15. Next weekend, they will travel to Laramie to play the University of Wyoming Cowboys for the first time this season. After that, they will play a long home stretch at the Rec Center for the first time since September.
Good day, God bless. It's Coach Prime from the second half of that Utah game in Salt Lake City because my coaching was non-existent in that second half as we couldn't respond. So I'm not even going to show any plays from that game because we got our butts whooped worse than I've ever seen in years because since the days my mother whooped me, I think. So let's go. Let's dive right into our number 5 pick this week. We go to, I believe, hockey against the CSU Rams. Oh my goodness, it's the Rocky Mountain face-off. This is one big game. Mia Fischelli, that's a cross-ice pass to Rowan Nasty. And that is one heck of a goal. Rowan Nasty thrown on that first line for the Buffs after Anna Masiello went down earlier that week due to an injury. Brutal injury, by the way. We stay at hockey for number 4. We got Mia Fischelli going up the right side, out in front, and she scores! What a goal for the junior over the right shoulder of CU's goaltender. That is, I believe, her second of the night. And we stay at hockey for number 3. My producers are telling me, and what's that white thing called? That machine that like goes across the ice. The Zamboni. That's what it's called. Oh my God, that's Brianna Arns. My goodness, that's Brianna Arns taking the Zamboni for a spin. Is this normal for players to take the ice surfacing machine for a spin? I thought they had dedicated staff to be able to do that. I mean, that is one beautiful Zamboni though. There's a brand new ice bear. Definitely love seeing that, and players driving the Zamboni. I mean, that's just a cool experience. It gives a little wave to the crowd there. But let's go to number 2 now. We've also got hockey, same Rocky Mountain face-off series. The puck is loose out in front. Oh my goodness, there's a trip on the ice, but it's a goal by Ella Hairston. Ella Hairston able to sneak that one past the left side of CSU's goaltender and give the Buffs a 2-point lead for number 1 now. Oh, we got soccer. This ball is loose out in front, sent across to Hope Labour. That's from her sister Faith, but Hope Labour gets the goal record for Colorado at 18 in that game against Arizona, and that propelled the Buffs to being, number 11. They rank number 11 right now in the country. I wish my team was ranked up there, but hey, great to see the ladies doing stuff, great stuff for the school. That's going to do it for Plays of the Week this week. Stay tuned for our game against Arizona tomorrow. I'm Coach Prime, and we'll see you later. Good day. God bless.
Here we see Xavier McNevitz working on his reader for the live show. If we didn't have these readers done by Thursday night, chances are we would not be airing this show right now. Be like Xavier. Get your readers done. And don't forget to click save so that you don't lose any of your hard-earned work.
Hey Buff fans, it's Mia Driscoll with your Rapid Fire this week. We've got a scary packed schedule for the Buffs varsity sports. Starting off today, the Big 12 Conference Championship for both men's and women's cross-country teams. We're looking to see them do a great performance starting today and going throughout the rest of this weekend. And then tonight we've got a huge ranked matchup for volleyball. We've got CU taking on number 18 Baylor. This is Colorado's 3rd straight week ranked in the top 25. They're looking to get another upset. It's going to be a great one at the CU Event Center. And then tomorrow, we've got the Buffs taking on Arizona Wildcats at Folsom Field. Coach Prime and his coaching staff have a lot of questions that need to be answered. We're looking to see that redemption game for Halloween. It's going to be exciting. And then if that wasn't enough, we've got men's basketball kicking off their season on Monday at the CU Event Center. Tad Boyle and his guys looking to get off to a hot start. It's going to be great, whether it's tricks or treats for CU fans. I hope you can stay on top of it and catch some games this weekend. That's all we've got here. Back to you guys at the desk.
The monsters of the midfield have clocked out, and the witches have hung up their whistles. And that's all for tonight for Fright Night Special.
From all of us here, stay spooky, stay sporty, happy Halloween, and don't forget, you heard it here first.
Boo.